Who likes music? Oh, that's pretty weak. I don't have a real. This is music tech. Man, I guess you're all tech people. So my name's Craig. This is a thing called Looplabs, which is it's kind of fun. We've been kind of working on this and not really had a chance to show it to a group like this. So this should be interesting. There's a lot of stuff, so I'm kind of jump into it. But we're a cloud-based collaborative online music studio, but we're really aimed at, regardless of your skill or technical ability, it's about how you can make music, you can share it with friends, you can collaborate. So people say it's YouTube meets GarageBand meets Google Docs. It's like all these things, if they got together and got jiggy, this would be kind of maybe what it is, if to give you an oversight. But I'm going to jump right in and show you what the studio looks like. So, do I have what on? Yeah, it probably does. And now you get my screen cropped. Moving this stuff over. Believe me, we'll get by. It's music. You don't need to see anything. Just close your eyes and imagine. So we are an online studio, and you know, one of the first things that happens for most people when they make music, even if you are, how many people are musicians here? Just so I know who I'm speaking to. So we got a few. Like you didn't really say a lot of stuff when I said you like music. So one of the things that we're focused on is creating lots and lots and lots of content, because for many people, starting music is just an empty canvas. There's no inspiration. So we've got over, I think, 25,000 loops that are part of our system right now, working with a lot of interesting partners, which we're happy to talk to you about later. I just want to dive right in. So we have your general explorer where you can find sounds. I'm going to jump right in and just start making kind of a more songwriting track, since there are some musicians. So here's all these different loops, and you can click on these things, preview these in real time. There's one I was picking up earlier, which I'm going to pick now, which I think is this one here. Yeah. So, you know, it's your basic editor, real easy, drag and drop, move stuff around. So everything's running in the cloud. So if I wanted to change this and say I thought this could maybe use a bit of a pickup to maybe 120, just goes to the cloud, reprocesses that with the wave quality stuff, loads it back in, and now I've up the ante right here. Maybe bring in a pad just to kind of. So the idea being very easy that I can start making music. But kind of like the real fun part about this is the fact that we built an entire social network and chat client into the studio. So I could talk to my buddy Braulio and say, see if he's got any drums I can play with. Hi. So now he's sharing a channel that he's just been playing with inside of his session. So just to take things back a second, so one of the key things to realize, especially if you're a musician, is that every single sound that we use, it's automatically tempo matched, which you kind of expect in today's world, but more importantly, everything's harmonically matched. So if I took in a piano or a synth and two different keys of music, two different genres of music, we do all the harmonic matching in the cloud, shift it, and load it back in, so that it's kind of like taking away the black keys for kids that approach a piano, where their first approach to music can be very daunting, where they feel like I can't make it because it doesn't sound good. We make sure that everything contextually is in the same key, so everything you're doing is subjective, yes, but definitely something that is fun to play with. So if I wanted just to solo this drum and just give you an idea of the power that we have here. You know, if I just wanted to kind of get the 1 and the 3 on there. So now I got a basic kind of beat going, so I can use that. But I think I definitely want to have maybe a fill. So if I were to duplicate this, maybe I'll pull this over here and just grab the end part. Let me just zoom in a bit here. So now I'm getting the feeling of something. And so now, if I was working with somebody else, we have a lot of people we'll show you in the social side in a second, but I know this Julian's been working on. Oh, we got some cowbell. I can pull that in a second if you like. You definitely need cowbell. So, the key thing is the power of being able to connect people from around the world. So beyond having music across every single genre and every style of music that we can possibly put into this, it's about the connectivity of people from around the planet. So you could be working with someone that's in New York or LA, but also, as Julian likes to say, whether you're in Indiana or India, it doesn't make a difference in terms of being able to connect with the power of the internet. So you got some vocals here. Supports full recording. There's so much stuff I can't cover in a few minutes of showing stuff, but definitely want to give you an idea of what's going on here. So maybe I'll bring this pad in. We'll automate this a little bit.
All I can see is your beautiful face.
But maybe we want to just maybe add some effects on that. Let's add a bit of a reverb.
All I can see is your beautiful face in the mirror, standing next to me.
So on stage with a couple beers and me in front of you guys, you can see the power of being able to put together something really, really quickly. So I'm using loops that we have that lock into sync. I can collaborate with people in real time to be able to pull assets in real time. We use all that metadata so that we have this trail of who are the contributors for stuff, because in this new world of music, all right, what are you sending me now? He's got something else. Looks like he's got some kind of a riser or something. Oh shit, yeah, I forgot to show you this actually. So we also make sure, so we've integrated complete with the chat client audio video, so you can be talking to people in real time. Hello, how are you doing? That's Julian. He's actually in the corner. He's not somewhere across the planet because that would be pretty hard with time zones. So for us, it's about how do we connect people with music, right? It's like so many people are experiencing music as this thing they listen to and a consumption thing, but we think we can transform consumers of music into creators of music, and we focus very hard on creating a very consumer-facing product that allows you to do that and to connect people. I mean, I'm a hippie at heart, so like the idea of having somebody across the planet, whether it's in France, Europe, Syria, someone that's making your beats out there, when shit happens in the news, all of a sudden it changes the context of like, whoa, that's my boy that makes my beats. And I think there's a real power and a connective tissue of music that is underutilized in today's world, but the ability to connect people, man, that kind of blows things away. But this is just this side of stuff. So if I wanted to publish this track, I could publish this track instantly. You're really posing over there, Julian. What are you doing? I got to save my track. Let's call it MI Tech. And so instantly, this track that we've created in a few minutes, I can publish out to the world. I can choose who gets to download it, whether it's my followers, it's everyone. I'll show you the social network in a second. And more importantly, who can remix this? Because the beautiful part about this is that whether you share this to Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, our player has a remix button associated with it. So you could be listening to this track inside of Facebook, go, oh my God, I got this great idea for a melody line, hit remix, and it loads it right back in the studio. You drop your vocals and you push it right back. And I kind of want to demonstrate that for 1 second. So this is the social side of things, where we have all the latest music and people. It's pretty much how we break it down. There's music and people. And we can just listen to even what the last thing that was created was. Let's just see what kind of crazy stuff. Oh, and it happens to be DJ Mission, who's our... So this is DJ Mission. This is our boy. He just turned 8 years old. He's been using our technology kind of behind the scenes since he was 4. And this is one of his tracks that I didn't even know. He just published this like in the last hour, I guess. We'll play you some of his other tracks just to give you an idea of this here for a sec. "48 tracks he's up to. He's a beast. He's never been to a club, but like he likes to do bangers. It's very, very, I don't know, he's a special child. But there's one track here, so here. So the whole social network aspect of it, we have profiles. We show the DNA, the sort of architecture of the tracks. You can learn from it. want to show you kind of like let me just play this track here. I know the Wi-Fi password got leaked out, so everything's kind of slowing down a bit. He was 7 when he did this. So the key thing here is you notice that he's made it remixable. And this would be the same on a Facebook, embeddable player, Twitter, Tumblr. Let's say you get to the drop. It's crazy to think this is a 7-year-old kid. Love it. You can just imagine what he's doing, right? So the cool thing is if I'm like, man, that's bang, and I'm going to play with that, I simply hit the remix button, and now it's going to load up his session the way that you saw my session exactly into its state. Again, it's just in a browser, right? So like, our goal is like put this into every hand of every kid, every person who wants to make music that has an internet connection. That's pretty much all you need at this point. So when this loads up, I'm going to see his entire session, and I'll just show you a couple quick things, and then we'll go to question and answers. But if I solo this, we're playing with a lot of sort of AI and machine learning stuff where I can kind of shuffle this, and it'll load up keeping the same arrangement, but load in different. So for even the people that have the least amount of talent, there's a way just to play and sort of slowly, based on the stuff that you're listening to, we understand what kind of music that you like, what stuff you favorite. We'll slowly start pulling out those assets because we have this unique sort of breakdown on a granular level of what music's doing, that we can pull that stuff out and start using that intelligence to sort of guide music that you like and provide suggestions. There's so much other stuff I could cover, but I think that's good for a starting point. Maybe if you guys got questions, I would love to answer it. But we're very excited to share it to you because we've been in private beta for a while. We're going to be launching soon. So this is the first time we got to show a taste of it. So yeah, thank you for checking it out. But let me know if you got any questions for sure. Oh, is that you, Brawler? You want me to say something here?
Yeah, you didn't mention, background, which is always needed in music, is a vocalist, which...
Well, so it's one of the beautiful things. That vocalist that we brought in is maybe a 17-year-old girl based in Connecticut. But, it's this wonderful thing where there's a lot of people that can sing or think they can sing. I mean, look what American Idol's done. But there's also people that are producers that certainly can't sing. And for us, the power of being able to connect those two worlds where when we open this up to the world, guys that are freestylers, rappers are going to be like, oh my God, I've got tens of thousands of tracks I can just drop on. Every person that's created that track is going to be super excited about it. And the cool thing for us is the fact that, although yes, we'll get questions I'm sure, and we can do a lot of remix stuff with this, there's a unique opportunity to break the mold of the industry where we're not beholden to the regular constraints that you see through publishing, through labels or publishers from a licensing perspective, because this is all UGC. And this new generation of kids are so into just like sharing and making stuff. It's not about the 18-month cycle of putting out an album. It's like, hey, let's just make a track today and get our friend to sing on it, and that's about this weekend's party, and then boom, that's gone. Now we're doing the next thing. And I think there's a real shift in attention that's moving to that kind of a speed that there's an opportunity to create an ecosystem that can kind of create new standards for music and how we use it that's a lot more open, a lot more flexible, and just a lot more fun, basically. But if anyone has any questions, I'd love to do that.
What's the tech stack?
Sorry?
What's the stack, the website?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Node, right? Everything's running web audio, WebRTC for all the video and the chat. We're actually kind of running a Jabber sort of hack client with a WebRTC component. Lots of just Java. Oh, hey, anyone's like a brilliant JavaScript dude? Like, let's talk because we need more people to do all the ideas that we have. But yeah, it's it's all running in Amazon. It's all cloud-based. But pretty much, for the most part, the stuff that matters is the Node, the web audio, and the WebRTC. Yep. Anyone?
I think you said you are private beta.
Yes.
How exactly do you handle that? Pen access inside, or is it?
So, so a little bit of back. I mean, I've been doing this interactive music stuff for about 15 years now, ever since it was possible way back in the very first dawn of Flash. In fact, Steve Jobs, who killed Flash, demoed the very first version of Looplabs when he launched Safari, which is my big nerd moment. I always like saying that because I'm proud of it. So we've had a lot of people that are familiar with the platform, and we've been inviting people that are really eager and curious and great beta testers to QA this, because there's 3 people building this product, so it's a very, very small team. So we need the kind of people that can help get the bugs. But we have a bunch of cards, and certainly it comes up to us. We've got, I think it's what Make Music NYC is a beta code that we're using, so anyone that goes to Looplabs can jump on it right away. We're really starting to open it up. I'm not in a position to really talk too much about a lot of the partners. There's a lot of amazing things going on, but this is music and tech, and I wanted to share those things today. Mm-hmm. I guess you over there?
Is there a way that users can create their own source material to share?
Sure. So I didn't show it today because it's not a part of this sort of alpha beta release, but we were incorporating the whole web MIDI spec as well. The real thing for us is that although we've got producers that have produced for Eminem on our platform and use it because they can top line with people across the country and they see a huge value in that, we're really aimed at that like 97% that don't play music, all the people that didn't put their hands up, because we think when artists start putting their music in an interactive format, whether you call it stems or whatever you want to call it, to allow people to be interactive and create with music and move music into this sort of century, then I think there's a huge opportunity to leverage that. So we'll roll out the more sophisticated stuff. But even when we look at MIDI stuff for people that are musicians, there's a lot of things you can do by folding stuff into key, folding things down into notes, knowing what chords are playing and tying notes that are relevant and making recommendations. So there's a lot of really sophisticated stuff that we want to make sure we get right before we put that out, because we think this could be the DAW of the future. So what Pro Tools was 15 years ago, we think for the next gen, this is Minecraft and music, right? I mean, for a kid that's 9 years old, they look at this and go, this is like Minecraft and music. This is how we all make music together and do stuff. So we're really focused on making it accessible to that generation of kids that don't have music education in schools, that don't have opportunities to learn, that may be in emerging markets where they can't afford this stuff, to bring those people up on a super positive, super social platform to make music. And so for that reason, we're just making sure we get things really right, but 100%. And to that point, because someone else will ask the question, I'm sure, new content. I mean, we've got a lot of content in here, but there's a huge opportunity in an ecosystem where if you're a producer of music, if you don't place your music somewhere, if you don't get that music placed, you've got digital dust growing on lots of amazing music. Well, why not have an app store type of model where you can sell these things as sound packs to a generation of kids that are starting to make music where like, hey, I want to get like these amazing break beats, or I want to get some electro house bass lines. All right, for 99 cents, for free, for $2.99, you can buy these sounds and use them royalty free inside of your creations. So it opens up a whole new product to a whole new market for a whole generation of actual musicians. And I think that's how we're focusing on bringing those real talented people into the platform. Mm-hmm.
So kind of on that note, you guys have all these pre-built sounds. You can create thousands of songs of stock music pretty easily.
Yep.
Any plan or any idea to kind of just create lots of great sounding songs and, you know, kind of compete with like the audio jungles and jiggle punks of the world?
So from a total geek perspective, I want to build a robot that makes the top music because it can learn from this stuff, right? But certainly to your point, from an advertiser's perspective, we think about, all right, we're trying to target a certain ethnicity and a certain demographic and a certain geolocation to sell a certain product. Well, we'll hire a music supervisor to tell us what kind of music we want. We're in a position to say, well, wait a second, we'll tell you not only what's popular, but here's a 14-year-old kid that's actually created music, they're in your demographic, and we can now open opportunities to license that. The uniqueness of having access to all the stems and all the elements there provides a lot more contextual data that we can mine in terms of providing really relevant data to an advertiser. So I think yes to that point, but almost much, much more specific and deeper where you are actually targeting and licensing music from the same people you want to target to, which to us creates a lot more value for everyone, for the creative community as well as the brand associated with it.
How do you pay the bills?
Yeah, how do we pay the bills? We're pretty much self-funded to date. We have a lot of wonderful people on here. you know, a lot of people here are working in startup, and you know the kind of game, and we feel that because we have a long history of creating this type of product and kind of beyond your prototype, it's a very solid, scalable thing. We're looking at the leverage of, okay, we're going to go to market, we're going to come in with a lot of top artists, we're going to do remix stuff, we're going to get the social numbers, we're going to get the leverage, and then we can sit at a table and have a real conversation about, yeah, you're not getting 40% of this because you think we're a startup. We've proven the adoption. The average time spent right now is over 30 minutes per visit, which is kind of off the chains because, I mean, it's 40 minutes a day on Facebook, and we're doing 30 minutes per visit. So, you know, we think we have something really valuable here. So for us, it's about holding on as long as we can and proving the model when we go to market and having leverage to bring in the proper funds to make this, you know, mainstream adoption. I'm sorry? Okay, Loop. So we have a team of producers and audio engineers in-house that have worked with really top artists. I mean, so they're producing a lot of stuff. We have a partnership which will be announced soon with SFX and Beatport, and they're providing a lot of sounds. We have partnerships with Loop Masters, Prime Loops, basically all the kind of the main content partners that you would expect from this music production world see the value in hitting this new market, and they're providing a lot of sounds gratis to expose themselves to this market. And then again, to that marketplace perspective, there's a lot of producers that see the value, because for us, when you put your sounds in as a producer, we can track every single usage of every single loop. We will be the first company that can really create a producer's chart to say whose sounds really are the hottest and across the world, whose sounds are being used. And that's a huge value for a producer that is unknown as a ghost in the world of music to get exposed. So for that reason, they're really interested in getting their content on the platform for kids to use, because then it's going to give them an exposure of distribution.
Okay, one more question and then we'll...
Sure.
How accessible is your model of harmony?
Of harmony in terms of
If I can like change what you think is going to automatically sound good.
Right, so every single piece of metadata of our music that goes in here, we know all the key information that's attached to that. So everything's subjective. We can put things into key, whether melodically you think it works or not. There's certainly an element of like, yeah, it's not the best line I could do, but we at least put it into the sandbox of all these sounds play nice. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to make a shit song, right? So there's an element of subjectivity to it, of course.
Yeah, so how accessible is the model? Like if I want to say, I disagree with that, I'm going to like allow German augmented 6 chords. I want to have weird.
Oh yeah, so I mean, every single you know, when the MIDI comes out, you can do whatever you want. But certainly, when I go into the sample editor, you can pitch semitones, every single thing you want. You have full control over this. I mean, there's so many features that I didn't want to get into. We have this crazy chopper thing, which like slices and dices every single loop into completely new things. You can pitch each sample. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things for people that want to dive down, because people do want to get creative, and we want to put those tools into people's hands. But mainly, we want people just to be able to say, hey, I never made music in my life. Holy shit, music's awesome. I want to do this. Maybe I'll pick up a guitar. We want to be that gateway drug to just kids making music. So, all right, awesome. Thank you so much.